All right, cool. So Holly will begin supervision by going over kind of the expectations for this. You know that this is for a class, so it's going to be recorded. I'm going to help you the best I can with whatever you want to talk about with your cases. The video I'll review it, so nobody else aside from me and my professor will review it. He needs to see it to make sure that what I'm doing is appropriate and accurate and helpful to you. So those are the people that'll see it. I'm not going to share it with anybody else. Everything we talk about in here will be confidential. Are you okay with having it recorded and what I just explained to you?
Yes.
Excellent. So I know we talked about before, there's a few things you wanted to talk about, a few things you wanted to go over, but for the purpose of, the video, I'm going to kind of go over what you do just to clarify that I'm on the same page.
Okay.
You do intensive in-home and community-based services. So you go into the community, into homes of the families and clients that you serve, spend possibly a few hours with them each session, up to 10 hours a week, correct? Okay. And you have a few cases that you see per week. So you might see them a few times a week. 3 cases, okay. And 3 cases, you might see them a few times a week. And how many hours would you say you might spend with them each session?
At most 3, as little as 1, depending on the family situation that day.
Okay. So 1 to 3 hours, a few times a week. And these are very volatile cases, right? These are kids that are at risk of being removed from their home and either placed in a hospital setting, residential setting, some, I don't know if yours are this, but some might even be a prison setting.
No prison settings right now, mostly hospital setting and foster care concerns for
Okay.
our family.
So, but they're being at risk of removed from their home.
Yes.
Okay. So that kind of explains what you do a little bit, so we kind of get more of an idea. It's a very intense client base that you work with. Excellent. Okay. So what do you want to talk about then? What are some of the things you've brought today?
Well, I have 2 children clients and then 1 mental health skill building client. Mental health skill building client is kind of difficult. I work better with children, so doing the adult thing is a little more frustrating because she's older than I am. So seeing this grown woman struggle with things that I struggled with 5, 6 years ago is hard for me to, put myself in her shoes and try not to be judgmental. I'm working on that. One of the big concerns with her is budgeting. She just recently had her power turned off because she did not pay her bill for 2 months. However, she lied and told me that she paid part of it 1 month and none for the following month. And in the light of day, she came forward and told another counselor who works alongside me that she didn't pay her bill for 2 straight months and had her power turned off. And instead of paying her bills, she was out getting her nails done. She has a friend that's not really a positive influence in her life as we see it, but the friend kind of gives off this almost drug usage vibe in her behaviors. So we're concerned that the client could become involved in that kind of activity as well, outside of the budgeting concern. The big concern there is, number one, if she stops paying her bills, what's she spending her money on? Then the concern becomes, is she spending her money on illegal substances or abusing her prescription medications?
Does your client have a history of drug abuse or?
She has a history of overdose. She's had suicide attempts in the past, several that have led her to be hospitalized. Her most recent one was about 2 months ago, where she had threatened to bang her head on the concrete and kill herself. So my co-counselor took her to a hospital and had her put in a hospital for about a week. When she came out, she had another habit. She started smoking. So now that is taking away her finances. She's on a very strict budget.
Mhm.
Only gets disability income, and food stamps. She just recently got a job, which is fantastic, but she has to be very careful because if she starts making too much money, she's going to lose all of her health insurance benefits for Medicaid. Her disability income will be gone. And this job is more of like a temporary type of company, so we're trying to deal with all of that.
So she gets assistance from the government,
Yes.
but she's working. and she has budget issues
Mhm.
and maybe concerns that she might get into drugs. And then you said she's overdosed in the past. What was it on? Do you know?
From my understanding, it's been prescription medications that are hers. One way we're kind of combating that idea, allowing her to have access to a month's worth of pills, is I bought a medicine lockbox, like a safety box
Hmm.
that you would put like your personal um, items in, like your social security card, your birth certificate, all
Right.
that, your personal documents that you want to keep safe and locked away in case somebody breaks in. Well, essentially, we're doing that with her medications. I'm not legally allowed to handle her medicines, but she's going to have the lockbox in her home,
Hmm.
and once a week, I'll go out there with the key. I will be the only person with the key. The concern there is if something comes up and I'm supposed to be there on Monday to help her refill her medicine box for that week, and an emergency comes up for her or myself, or a natural disaster,
Right.
things happen.
Right.
So we're trying to figure out a solution for that problem
Mhm.
because the original idea was my friend was going to have the extra key, but there's now been information given that the friend is actually getting frustrated because my client isn't able to drive her around town and do errands and use her money on her.
Is this the same friend that has the drug issues?
Yes.
Okay.
We suspect. We don't know. We asked about it. The client says no, but we still suspect that there's some kind of drug usage. I've met the friend twice,
Hmm.
and without trying to judge a book by its cover per se, she definitely comes across that way. She has, some features that fit the description of people who are on illegal drugs.
Okay.
So we're still in the works trying to figure out that. So if you could maybe help me figure out an idea of how to
The
deal with this key
medications.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have like a safety plan, not a safety plan, but a backup plan if you're unavailable.
We have safety plans in place, but not a backup plan for her medication lockbox. That's where the concern with the lockbox came up. I'm all for the idea.
Mhm.
My supervisor at the company came up with that idea, and I'm like, okay, great. But if I can't get there on Monday and it's Wednesday before I can get there, she goes 2 days without medications, and she's bipolar, PTSD, severe anxiety.
She needs those
She can't
meds.
go 2 days without her bipolar medicine because she's going to be extremely manic, and when
Hmm.
she becomes manic or even depressed, that's when the suicidal thoughts begin to creep in, and she'll go out on her front porch and dance around in her underwear like a fool. And she's told us these things before, and she has neighbors, and the fear is that if she gets overly manic, then the police will be called, and it's just a downward spiral.
Well, that's a lot of responsibility to put on you.
Yeah.
So, does she have a case manager?
She does have a case manager. She does. She lives in Mobile. The client
Hmm.
does, and her case manager is out of the Campbell County Horizon office, so it's about a 20-minute drive from her house.
Okay. Would that be an option to give a key to the case manager and kind of make the case manager aware of the plan so that if you're not available, you can contact, is it a male or female?
I'm pretty sure it's a female. I
Okay.
haven't met her yet.
So you could contact her and say, hey, I can't make it. Would you be able to make sure the client has their meds for the week?
Yeah, that could be a possibility. I don't think the case manager would want that kind of responsibility either.
Hmm.
Being a case manager, and I'm just mental health skill building.
Right.
And it's not like I'm her live-in aide or I'm required by law to be there every day.
Right.
So that's where the big concern comes into play. My co-counselor could potentially be the other one,
Hmm.
but her schedule is just as busy, if not more insanely busier than mine.
So I think it'd be good to maybe at least reach out and say, I'll be the primary.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take care of it most days, if not every time. I'm just asking if you can maybe cover for me on the occasion that something
It would be worth
happens.
looking into for sure. See if she could potentially offer some assistance there.
Hmm.
Or maybe, just off the top of my head, that office that she goes to for her psychiatric care,
Hmm.
possibly that could be a good place if the front desk could hold the copy of the key. I don't know if that's something that they're able to do
Right.
by law, but if it's a possibility, then
You can always ask.
it's worth at least finding out if they could do that.
Do you know what the medication is that she takes for bipolar and?
It's a newer medicine. She just got it prescribed when she was in the hospital in Vega.
Okay. So I know I've had clients before where they get a shot every 2 weeks for psychotropic medications or maybe even bipolar medications. Do you think that might be a possibility so that you don't run the risk of her running out of meds or overdosing on any of them?
She just had a psychiatric appointment last week that I attended with her,
Hmm.
and they did increase her Vega, but they did not go the shot form.
Hmm.
They wanted to keep it in pill form because of the concern of where she lives.
Okay.
And with her just getting this job, she's just now starting to make money again, and if she can't get gas in her car for that day to go get her shot, it's still one of those if-then situations that comes up.
So I know for mental health skill building, the goal is to kind of increase the independence, their symptom management skills, their life skills. So this is definitely something that is beneficial to her that you're going to definitely need to work with her on for a little bit.
And then the budgeting is the next big one. Like I said, her power got turned off. It's been off. I think last night was the first time it's been on in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And because she went past her 10-day time frame of getting the money in, they extended it for her, but charged her an extra $114.
Cool.
She actually owed in total with that. Let's see, it was $540 plus 114. So she owed $654 to have her electric restored, and thankfully for her, she was able to go to like different community places in Lynchburg and get pledges. She got money from the United Way, from Salvation Army, Lincare. Oh gosh, social services actually paid a good portion of it. Thankfully, the time frame that she was in, they had their cooling assistance program.
Oh yeah, they just started
and
that.
They just started. She just applied last Friday, got approved, and they paid I think $300+ for her electric to be restored, which is a once a year kind of. Well, they do twice a year for heating and cooling.
Right.
But I found out why her electric bill got so high.
Why is that?
She is very hot then cold, very hot then cold, as am I. But I will leave my air on at one temperature all day long, no matter how cold or hot I am. She has been telling us that when she gets hot, she turns the air on, turns it down to 68. But then when she becomes cold, she turns the heat on in her apartment. Her apartment's not very big, but it's an older house. So the windows are, thin. The insulation's probably terrible. There's creaks and cracks and all that good stuff. So I know that the air is seeping out of the apartment when she has it on full blast like that. And as most people know, she apparently did not know this, and this is something we're educating her on, my co-counselor and myself. If you're turning your air from hot to cold, it's running your electric bill sky high.
Yep.
Statistics show and studies show if you leave it at one temperature all day long, day and night, your electric bill does not skyrocket.
No.
Well, she got up to $500 and some in 2 months, and I'm thinking your apartment is smaller than my house, and I have a rather large house, and we keep it at 68 with air conditioning on, and my bill is maybe $180 a month at most. So that's something we're educating her on, is just making sure she's aware that if you're cold, put on some sweats, put on some fuzzy socks. If you don't have any, let's go to the Goodwill, when you get paid, or, go to a closet, like a clothing closet at one of these community service places and get the appropriate clothing that you need. The Salvation Army has a clothing closet every week, I think.
Well, and it's even probably better, instead of turning on the heat and the AC, if she gets cold, just turn off the AC. Don't even go to the heat.
Yeah.
Just let it warm up naturally.
She does have a dog. She leaves the TV on all day long for the dog. Now, this dog has picked up her depression. And I mean that 100%. I've seen this dog a couple of times. She is the most melancholy dog I've ever met in my entire life. I walked in, she didn't bark, she didn't jump, she sniffed me and walked away. I've never seen a dog do that before, ever.
So do you have concerns about that then?
I have concerns that her depression has led to the dog being depressed. She's not a very active dog. She'll pee in the house. because she does not want to get out of bed before noon, which is another thing that my client has struggled with, being on a normal sleep schedule. She's missed appointments recently because she did not set an alarm clock. So that's another learning curve that we're working on, is adjusting to being an adult and, utilizing those key adult things such as a budget, a grocery list so you don't go above your budget, an alarm clock to make sure you're not late for work.
Right.
Some days her work schedule starts as early as 4:15 in the morning. So I'm thinking, how do you get up that early? I can't get up at 10 o'clock without an alarm. So how do you get up for 4:15 a.m. in Lynchburg, which is a 45-minute drive for her? And she's like, well, on days that I have to work, I just tend to wake up really early. And I'm thinking, okay, that's nice, but then there's going to be a day where you're going to wake up late and you're going to get fired from this job that you so desperately want. So yeah.
What is that job, by the way?
She does, it's for a temp, I don't want to call it a temp company, but everything that I've seen is a temp thing. It's like, they get together and go to different stores that need, not stocking, but inventory. And she goes in with a scanner, and she and a group of people, especially if it's an out-of-town job, will go into that store and inventory their products, either before the store is open or after it's closed most of the time. So her schedule just fluctuates. It's, 7 in the morning, 9 at night.
Is she okay with that?
She likes it. I think it's good for her to have this type of job, or any job, because of her social anxiety and her social awkwardness. That's something, we'll go out and I'll try to encourage her. She likes to get really close to other people. I'm trying to teach her boundaries.
Okay. So definitely a lot of things you're working on with her.
Oh yeah, it's just like a full basket of things with her. And so in one session we go from A through Z. We work through everything every single time we're together in some way, shape, or form. She does have a child who is not in her custody. She actually signed over an entrustment agreement so that her daughter could be adopted, which was really difficult for her. This was prior to when I met her, but she signed the entrustment since I met her. And I've met her child, met the foster family, now adoptive family, because they're in the process of adopting her. And it's a really great fit for the child.
How old is the child?
12.
Okay.
She was found to be a neglectful mother. She wasn't able to properly care for the child because the mom can't take care of herself right now either. And she has finally gotten to the point where she sees it as, I'm doing what's best for my child, which is very commendable. It's hard for a mom to say, okay, here's my child because you're going to take care of her better than I will. But so that's one positive in her court. I will definitely give her props for that.
Does she still get to see her child?
They were doing weekly visitation, but the foster/adoptive family has some family health issues going on with the grandparents. So weekly visitation has stopped. The daughter does have a cell phone. The daughter is allowed to contact mom whenever she wants. That they've kept their lines of communication open, knowing that the family that has the child is in charge of looking over everything that's being said, making sure things are appropriate. Mom has been known to become manic during visits and act more like a child than a 12-year-old. So that was a concern prior to when I met her. Any interactions that I've seen, she's been very appropriate. And I've been there to kind of give her assistance and say, hey, this is a little inappropriate, maybe back off on it a little bit. And she kind of tells me some of the stuff that she and her daughter talk about. And she shows me pictures and things of trips that they're going on. But no real visitation right now. And there's no set schedule of when it has to begin again, because really and truly the family does not have to do visitation moving forward. They have legal custody of this kid now.
So they're doing it out of their good graces.
They are. They're really great people. They really understand that, this child wants a connection with her mom, maybe at arm's length, but they still want a connection.
So there's a lot going on with this adult.
Yes.
So we talked about the meds a little bit and kind of made somewhat of a plan. I'd reach out to the supervisor also who suggested the lockbox and kind of iron out some of the details with them too. But definitely reach out to the case manager and, your co-counselor. See if they're able to help you out too, because I don't want all that to fall on you. That's a big responsibility.
I have to take care of my own medication every week
Right. So that's a big responsibility. So see if we can kind of iron that out a bit. Do you need help going over the budgeting with her
No,
or?
I'm pretty good about budgeting
Mhm.
myself. Mortgage, student loans, car payments, all that good stuff. So I'm pretty on top of budgeting, and I always make a budget list for the grocery store.
Mhm.
I don't deviate from my shopping list, and I think one way that I can help her with that is to be present when she goes grocery shopping.
That'll definitely help.
Just to offer encouragement of, hey, that's not on your list and it's not in your budget.
Mhm.
That's going to break your budget. Maybe next time we'll budget for that specific
Right.
item. She has a history of overeating and binging, and then causing herself to get sick. She had a couple of problems with some eating disorders.
Mhm.
She's had issues with starving herself. So we're trying to. My co-counselor actually has her on using an eating schedule
Okay.
so that she doesn't overeat.
Mhm.
She's been known. She told me that she will eat 2 or 3 bowls of cereal and 2 or 3 hot pockets for breakfast.
Yeah, that's
And
way more than we
that's
need.
really unhealthy because that's a lot of food all at one time. Your body doesn't have time to digest any of that right away. And then you're going to be bloated and you're going to be miserable. So you're not going to want to do anything. You're just going to sleep.
Mhm.
And she said, yeah, that's exactly what I do. I'll eat, and then take a nap. And then I'll get up and eat, and go back to taking a nap. And so we're trying to keep her on a healthier eating plan.
Mhm.
And she does a food journal every day of every little thing that she eats.
Good, because I was going to
So-
suggest something like that.
Yeah, so that way we can kind of monitor what's been put in and out. And the only issue that we have there is she has been known to falsify information recently. So she's actually signed a contract of sorts that she will no longer lie or withhold information from us, because withholding that type of information, like her electric situation, we could have already had that taken care of weeks ago before it got shut off.
Mhm.
But she withheld all that information because she was embarrassed.
Okay, I was going to ask why would she do it, but the embarrassment. I mean, she's an adult who had their power turned off. I could see why that would be embarrassing.
And she has mentioned before that being honest with us means that she has to be honest with herself, which is fantastic that she's able to
Yeah.
do that.
It's good self-awareness.
She's very, but at the same time, it puts a little bit of strain for us where we can't do anything to assist or teach you other ways to manage your money or your resources rather,
Mhm.
if you're not honest. So it's a lot with her.
Yeah. Seems like you spend a lot of time with her each week when you can.
I try to. She has recently been scheduling and then canceling last minute or not waking up on time
Mhm.
and canceling sessions that way, which of course messes with my finances and I'm not okay with it. But that's not her information to have.
Right.
But it does put a little bit of a strain on our company because, if we're not providing the service, the adequate numbers that she needs, are we really being helpful to her? Are we really going to do a service for this person? Are we doing her a disservice by continuing to let her do this?
Right.
So recently, my co-counselor had her sign a contract saying that she has 2 more times to cancel or change or modify a scheduled appointment for no reason.
Mhm.
If it's an actual emergency, she's really sick, fever, throwing up, girl, you stay home. I don't want it. I'm pregnant. I can't have all that. So keep yourself at home, get
Mhm.
well, and I can offer you support via telephone. Drink some drinks, make sure you don't get dehydrated, eat properly, get some rest. But otherwise, she is going to be, her services are going to be ending if she continues to cancel because she's in a bad mood. That has happened twice now.
So it's kind of an accountability thing for her.
Yes.
Okay.
She definitely needs it.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to go over with her? Anything
Um,
we missed that you feel like you want to touch on with her anymore?
None that I can think of. She's a very complex person, but we've got a decent plan in place and really good solid contracts in place to.
It seems like you've been working with her for a little bit of time, and you
I've
have
been with her
a.
for a month,
Oh,
which is
really?
pretty crazy that I know that much.
But you do spend a lot of time with her, I'm assuming, from what it sounds like. And you have another supervisor who's involved, and I'm sure that they have given you ideas and feedback on what to do.
When I meet with her, it's typically 3 hours. We don't do 1-hour sessions unless we have to. This previous week, we did do 2 1-hour sessions
Mm-hmm.
because I had an appointment, and then she was feeling ill and had thrown up at work, and I didn't want to take any chances of contracting a stomach bug.
Right.
So we got her medication lockbox and spent a few minutes
then you wrapped it up.
Yes, and it was, I'll see you next week when you feel better.
Understandable. So I guess we'll move on then from your adult client
All right.
and go on to whichever
So I got
person
two
you want.
kiddos. One is a 14-year-old female, and then the other is an 8-year-old female. We can start with the 14-year-old female because I have some concerns there.
Okay.
This is the one that I mentioned, the possible foster situation.
Mm-hmm.
Really big truancy issues. And I cannot, for the life of me, figure out how to motivate this child to go to school.
Is it the mom or the kid that's the issue, or is it the parents? Okay.
It's kind of the whole family situation. I've talked it over with another supervisor that this family is completely 100% enmeshed with each other. The mom relies on the children rely on mom and the other siblings and the dad to fulfill every one of their basic needs. They can't self-soothe. Mom has been known to have an anxiety attack. Mom is an extremely anxious person. And when mom's anxiety is on a high, the kids tend to rise with her. And then the whole family just collapses together. There were several days during the school year, I've been working with this family for about 4 months now. And during the school year, she would text me and say, hey, my kid's having a bad morning again. I would call in and mom is just frantic on the phone. You can't talk to mom because she's so anxious and worked up over the kid not wanting to get out of bed, or kid is throwing a fit because she can't find a brush. Typical kid stuff. Any reason to get out of going to school.
Mm-hmm.
But this family, I went to their FACT meeting, their truancy meeting rather. They had over 20 absences apiece, all 3 children.
Wow.
20. I don't think I missed 20 days in all, from kindergarten to senior year of high school. Unless for some unknown reason I was like super ill, and at that point I missed maybe 2 or 3 days at a time until I was cleared by the doctor to go back. I had a friend who had mono that didn't miss that many days of school. So my thought was, what in the world is going on in this home that is keeping these children from going to school? Well, a friend of the family was actually in the home and mentioned that she had noticed that the mom wants the children home with her a lot. It's almost a need for mom to keep the kids home because mom doesn't have to fight with them.
So mom doesn't work?
No, mom does not work. Dad is the only breadwinner in the home, and he barely makes enough money to pay the bills. And, it's another one of those situations where financially this family needs both parents to work because the family really would thrive a lot more if they both worked, I think. But anyway, besides their finances, the family really depends on each other. I've gone to a doctor's appointment with them where the oldest son had cut his finger with a piece of glass by accident. And we went to like a physician's treatment center, local doc in a box kind of thing, to get it looked at to make sure it didn't need stitches. It looked really deep, and my client was terrified that her brother was going to lose his finger. So my focus with her was just finding a way for her to calm down, realize that just a little cut like that, you're not going to lose your finger. I explained, my dad cut his hand with a power saw all the way down to the bone. He didn't lose his fingers, just take some time to heal. So after that, she was fine. But mom had gotten a text message from dad that was kind of cryptic. So mom was becoming escalated in the room with us, which was then giving the children more reason to become escalated. So I finally had to take mom in the hallway and be like, listen, mom, I get it. You're going through some stuff right now. We can talk if you need somebody to talk to after this appointment, but your son's bleeding. Your daughter is freaking out because your son's bleeding. They need you to be more present here than what's going on your phone for a few minutes. But she couldn't do it. And so the whole family just, again, became enmeshed with each other in that situation where mom needed the children to be her support systems. And that happens a lot with this family. So on days when the kids don't want to go to school because they're feeling anxious or nervous or just too tired to go, mom will get overwhelmed, and then the son, the oldest one, will step up and try to help be her support system.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ends up becoming the parenting role for the other 2 children because mom can't handle it. Mom has this terrible anxiety. Her face is red. She's hot. She feels like she's going to pass out. So she has to lay down. And then my client doesn't go to school again. And, we had a truancy meeting where the family had, I think she had 20 unexcused and 19 excused.
So essentially 39, 40 days she wasn't in school.
She was not in school. And so her grades were very reflective of this. I went to a meeting with her teachers, and they said when she's there and participates, she does swimmingly. When she's not there, which is very frequently, obviously missing 40 days out of a short period of time. I mean, school feels like it takes forever.
I think it's only 160 days actually
it
that they're in
so
school.
Long for children, but 40 days of missing classes or coming in tardy even. That doesn't even include the tardies or having to leave early because of an appointment. So it was very obvious that this family was on the fast track to these kids being removed and being placed in the foster system because the parents were not doing what they were supposed to do. And truancy is a big deal. So now, looking forward for the next school year, I mean, it's June now. It's almost the end of June. They have July and then parts of August, and that is it. And I go over there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and everybody's still asleep because they stay out till 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I can do that. I'm a grown up, and I still get up and go to work every day. And I schedule my days accordingly. But this family, they don't have the idea of needing to be on a sleep schedule so that they can become acclimated to a new schedule for the new school year so they don't miss school again.
So it's definitely a family concern. It's not just necessarily with this.
And it's not just my client, it's everyone.
And Dad works. What is his schedule like?
He is usually gone in the mornings before the kids have to leave for school.
Okay.
So it is 100% up to Mom to take care of this situation. And Mom can't seem to handle it. Part of me, and I feel kind of bad saying this, but I feel like partially these kids would actually do better and thrive in a foster setting if in the correct foster home. Obviously, as you know, not every foster home is going to be the nurturing environment that each kid needs, but there are good foster families out there, and I can even recommend a foster family that would do well with this kid, and her siblings even, because they want to keep families together. This one particular family would be fantastic for her and for her siblings, but we're not there yet.
Well, if this continues, this pattern behavior of truancy, it's not a choice we'll have to make. It'll be made for you.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be taken out and put in a foster care.
The truancy officer told the mom, when we had this meeting, I think there were 15 days of school left. Only 15. My client missed 1 day of school during those 15 days. After we had a very extensive meeting talking about the importance of not missing school at this point. Mom and Dad are going to get jail time, fines. You guys are going to be removed from the home. You could be placed in group homes, foster homes, not all together. There's no guarantee. Most likely, they would not be put together. Most foster families don't want 3 foster kids, all teenagers. Most foster families, unless they are specifically looking for teenagers, want younger kids. So we very much stressed the importance of making sure that this doesn't become an issue. But my client is only in 7th grade. She has another year of middle school and then all 4 years of high school. I'm not very hopeful that this child is going to stay in this home throughout the rest of her school years. She says that she wants to drop out of school when she's 16, and I'm just trying to find a way to motivate her not to do that. She's smart. She struggles with dyslexia. She's never been diagnosed with that, but I can tell you she's dyslexic. I've seen her writings, and most of her letters, if not all of them, are backwards or skewed in some way. Her reading comprehension is great. She loves to read, actually. That's something I've been trying to get her to do all summer is start a reading list of some sort of books that she can enjoy to keep herself from being isolated in a room or, from just watching YouTube videos all day and all night.
So there's a lie here.
Definitely. I mean, that's barely even touching the surface of what this family is doing.
So I guess the question I got for you is, what are you looking for from me in this? Are you looking for advice, guidance, or just getting it off your chest?
Mostly just getting off my chest because really right now there's a plan in place for the most part for the next school year. Mom says that she's going to be walking the kids to school. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. other supervisory stuff that I've been through, we're kind of torn about whether or not this family is actually going to make any real tangible progress because they've had services off and on for years, like another family that I used to work with. And, they would make small progress, but then they would get right back to square one.
They kind of, I've been in a situation like that before with families that constantly have workers coming in to help out, or they've had service for so long, they're just used to the provider coming in, and they don't necessarily make the change. They might do it when the provider's there. Once the provider's gone, it's right back to how it was before. So you've got a plan set. I don't need to review it with you. I trust your plan. You've probably, talked about this constantly with them. So, I mean, it kind of sounds like if they're going to make the improvements, they're going to have to do it on their own. And if not, after having that big truancy meeting, if they're still not taking it seriously,
It's kind of a moot point. We won't be able to help this family if they don't want to help themselves.
yeah, unfortunately, that's what it comes down to in counseling a lot. If they don't want to help themselves, they're not going to make any progress, unfortunately. But it sounds like you're actually trying, though. You're doing what you can to try and help them.
I
So,
usually see her at least 3 times a week. We've been focusing on healing words. She doesn't have a vast vocabulary when she talks about how she feels. She just breaks down in tears. So we've been working on understanding how to express her emotions without the tears consistently. So that's been a challenge, but it's a work in progress.
so is there anything I guess you need from me, or is it just like you said, just mostly you just want to
Just
talk
get that
about it?
off my chest a little bit.
Okay.
Kind of basically just hearing it out loud.
Yeah.
Kind of reaffirming that I'm doing what I can. But like you said, if they're not willing to do these things when I'm not in the home, then it may not ever change.
Right. And that's unfortunate because we want people to get better. And that's why we're in the job, to try and help people, to make them, better than what they were when we started. But if they're not going to do it, you don't want to work harder than them because you're just going to get exhausted. And
it's hard when you want more for a family than what they want for themselves.
Yeah, and that'll cause burnout if you try harder than them, and we definitely don't want that.
And I have one more kiddo.
Okay.
Great kid, 8 years old. She's technically not the biological child or her foster child. She has guardianship.
Okay.
Parents signed over their rights when she was young. Big trauma history. We suspect there's some sexual abuse there when she was little and in diapers still. When her brother would come in the room with his bad friends about all African American, which matched the description of the boyfriend that neglected and abused her in the mom's relationship prior to coming to the home, she would take off all of her clothes.
Is she doing that now?
No, she does not do that now, thankfully. But she does have a lot of sexual ideas, and she likes to write. So in journaling, we found that we have to keep an eye on all of her journals, even the ones that she tries to hide. We have to find them in the home because she writes very explicit stories and draws pictures, and they're very, very accurate. This child has ordered $300 and some worth of, I guess, for lack of a better word, Playboy movies and things like pay-per-view movies.
And she's 8?
She's 8.
So there's a lot of red flags here.
Oh yeah. There is no, since she has moved into this home, there has not been anything of that nature that she's been exposed to. Besides the typical TV stuff that you would run across in any random TV show. Sex is like the hot topic in every TV show, unfortunately. So you have to be very particular. And with older siblings in the home, the mom can't say, mom's not going to say, hey, you guys can't watch that stuff in my house when the other kids are here because the other kids are always home.
Right.
So it's just not to try to tell the family to censor themselves, but just kind of be more aware of when she's around. She's very controlling. She's autistic. We found out about 6 months ago she is on the spectrum. Asperger's is not what it's called anymore, but that's about where she would be.
So she's a higher functioning autistic?
She's super high functioning.
Okay.
Smart. I mean, this kid can read a book that I would want to read at 30 and understand and comprehend exactly what's going on, all the themes, anything in the background. She gets it. And she's just a reader. If you buy her a new book every week, she will finish it before the week's out.
Does she have any preferences? This is just a question for me. Does she have any preferences on books, or is
She
it
wants
anything?
whatever you give her.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
She has it right now. She's been looking through a Guinness records book and loving it. She'll tell me weird facts all the time. When I come over, Miss Holly, look at this.
Those are fun though.
They are. And then she's read, like the more popular like Descendants. They're doing movies and stories that she's read. She wants the new one because there's a new book out now before the new movie starts in August. And she wants me to go to the library with her and pick it up and share it, like read it to me even. This kid loves to read to people, to herself, whoever will listen, she wants to read. But then on the flip side, when she does other activities with other people, that's when her issues begin. The sexual stuff, we're slowly working towards that. They have a family counselor that comes in once every other week that does some family counseling that I'm not qualified for. That trauma stuff. I'm not trained in that. I mean, I'm still pretty new to this world for the most part. Like 2 or 3 years in, there's not much there.
Okay.
But she is working diligently with the family to understand the trauma history.
How often does the trauma counselor come by?
Twice a month.
So not very often.
No, but she's there for 2 hours each time. And let me just tell you, my client hates her.
Why?
Because she's boring, is what the kid says.
I figured it might be because she's forcing her to talk about the trauma.
Well, right now it's mostly been working with mom.
Okay.
Because the kid is basically refusing to work with this person. Part of her personality, who she is, she does not like change. And change scares her a lot. She will start to regress if you force a lot of change on her all at one time. So having another counselor in the home scared her. And she will tell you, I do not want to talk to her. She's boring. She's weird. She's not you. So that's kind of been an issue for us in the past, where if services were going to be ending and she needed to start seeing someone else, she's scared to meet with anybody else because she connects with certain people and others she will not connect with. Even if she tries, she just can't form that connection.
And that's part of the autism there.
She has her people.
Yep.
And outside of those people, she doesn't want anybody else. But recently, the big issue with her has been she's somewhat isolating herself recently from other people, even people she agrees with and plays well with, especially one of her siblings. The bio mom is back in the picture, and bio mom favors the other sister. So when the sister is out of the home, my client's doing great. She's thriving, she's listening, she's, her eating habits are terrible, but that goes along with the autism. She has very particular taste, and outside of that, she will not eat it. I've tried. Mom has tried a lot of different things, but she's chicken nuggets, tacos, pizza, cereal. She'll drink hot chocolate, juice, lactose-free milk because she's allergic. I'm trying to think of what there's very limited things.
But it sounds like things high in sodium and high in sugar.
Those are all of her favorites. Popsicles, ice cream, because she's allergic to milk. She still will occasionally eat ice cream, but she tells me she regrets it afterwards. She gets terrible stomach aches after. But yeah, this kiddo, she's doing great when the older sister's not in the home, but when she comes back, they argue constantly. And I get the feeling that mostly with that is there's a resentment there. Mom wants you, but not me. Although my kid will tell you she does not want to live with her bio mom. She wants to live with her mom, which is the legal guardian.
Right, the foster mom, I guess, or like you said, legal guardian.
So I guess with that, I don't know how to help them begin to get along better. Because the sister is so in and out, she's not consistently in the home. Right now, during the summer months, the mom is off from work. She works at a college here in town in their cafeteria department. And because school's out for the summer, she's not working. So the mom comes by and gets this other daughter and takes her off and does things. She brings her back every now and then when she needs a babysitter, essentially.
But she doesn't do that with your client.
No. Every now and then she'll take my client out to do something fun, but never overnight, which my client will tell you she does not want to stay with her overnight. But never for extended periods of time. The most is like 4 to 5 hours on Saturday.
So I just want to make sure I'm on the same page. They live with the legal guardian, the sisters. Bio mom will take the older sister, keep her for extended amounts of time, and your client will stay with the legal guardian. She's okay with that. But it's when the sister comes back that she starts to act up and have issues and conflict.
That's when her hyperactivity kicks in more. She's not. That's when she also tends to try to isolate herself from her sister. I have a feeling that this is just a hunch, and I can't prove it right now or talk to her about it because she struggles with um, feeling words, and that's something we're working on. But I have a feeling that she resents her sister, and so with her being gone throughout most of the week, when she comes in the home, she would just prefer to not be around her anyway.
Yeah. So you don't think she'd be open to sessions or activities with her sister and you?
I think she would if we structured it the right way.
Okay.
Play therapy is really great with her. She loves Barbies. She loves to paint and color, and we'll play like Simon Says, which is great because then it forces her to let somebody else be in control. So it's hard for her. So then we take turns letting her be in control. Of course. We'll do a basketball game where I make up the rules of where people can stand or how many baskets they can shoot, and even if they miss or things of that nature. And she does really well. But when other children her age or even just children in general try to make up rules, she does not have it.
So she doesn't like giving up the control, which is typical of people who have suffered abuse, especially sexual abuse.
Because if she's in control, then she can keep herself safe.
Yes, it's exactly what it is. So I would maybe look into doing some structured activities with sister when she comes back, especially if she's been with mom and then she first comes back. Maybe doing a little bit of activities soon after she gets back, so that your client can adjust a little bit better to it. And you said she journals mostly about her sexual history. What does she try journaling? Some of her thoughts.
She does journal her other thoughts. It's just when we see the sexual behaviors or sexual problems that's in the journaling, she will use her journal in appropriate ways and focus on her actual emotions. It's easier for her to write things down or draw a picture than it is for her to verbalize.
Have you done like art therapy type stuff where you will do? Okay.
And there's something we're getting ready to work on, and she's really excited about. We're going to take little strips of paper and write out different emotions that she may need to tell somebody that she's feeling, but not be able to verbalize them. And
I like that.
She came up with the idea of drawing a picture of that specific feeling. And we're going to actually laminate them at my office, hole punch them, and put them on a key ring so that she can keep them all together, flip through, and quickly find whichever emotion she needs to tell somebody she's feeling, so that the adult in the house or the other children in the house know, hey, this is not a good time to mess with her.
That's good. I like that idea. The legal guardian, how is she with all of this?
She's fantastic. She goes above and beyond to make sure that this kid has everything that she needs to make sure she feels safe and loved and cared for. Mom travels every now and then for work, so that's really difficult for my kid. But she makes sure that when she does travel, there's a trusted family member or adult present at all times to make sure that the kiddo feels supported.
So she definitely is very involved, very supportive in all this. It's going to be kind of difficult working with this client because of her age, her abusive past, and the fact that she is on the spectrum. Those three things are going to make it difficult, but because you have the support of the foster parent or the legal guardian, and because the client connects so well with you, those are all pluses that you can make progress with them. So is there anything you're looking for with this? Any suggestions or?
Well, I think a suggestion of maybe focusing on a positive activity for the two of them when she first comes in, the sister, the older sister. I think that will definitely make some differences for this kiddo, and maybe work toward talking about why do you feel like you want to hide away from her when she comes home. Maybe kind of get into that trauma history a little bit.
A little bit. They do have the trauma counselor, so you don't need to touch on that as much, especially because you don't feel comfortable doing it. But if you're there when sister comes back and you can see what goes on, you can help foster it, and you can help, build that positive interaction. She might start to warm up to it. She might start doing it on her own, or if she's resistant, you are there and you can help her through it to try and make the time when you're not there go better.
That's good. So
we're going to be wrapping up shortly. We talked about a lot of different things in here. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
I'm good. Tired, but it's normal.
You feel pretty good about how this went, the feedback you got?
Yeah, definitely. I've got some good feedback, some good ideas that I've typed out that I'm gonna pass by these clients and kind of see what happens with that.
Excellent. Well, we're going to meet again, obviously, and we'll have some more recorded sessions that we'll do. Again, these I'm going to review them for my personal sake, so I can see if I missed anything or if I didn't pick up on anything and trying to improve myself so I could help you better. But is there any questions or anything else you got before we wrap up?
No, I think that's it.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me.